Well, hi guys. We're here in the backfield behind the house, and with everything the way it happened last fall, I didn't get to finish my project back here. Had a dirt pile full of ashes and nasty stuff that I couldn't get to because of my kidney stones. I had all this ground worked up, um, irrigated, this down, irrigated, in really good shape. Uh, Then went down with those kidney stones, and I couldn't get back at it. And it started raining. Uh, Henceforth, this year, what I wanted to do was get it, I had the ground in good shape, and I was going to get in here early, get on it with a disc, and it was going to be ready to go. Well, as you can see, it's growed up in grass, because until now, you couldn't walk back here. I couldn't drive back here, because it's so wet. So, our new game plan is pretty simple. This is going to get sprayed for burn down. And this ground, believe it or not, is cracking open. It's dry. It got dry quick. Literally a week ago, I would have been standing in mud. And it kills me how much volunteer clover there is in here. Unbelievable. Right up here, I don't remember if I got to show this or not. I filled this ditch in that was here. Right here, where I'm standing, is about 2.5, 3 feet of fill where I filled this old ditch in. At one time, there was a road right there that went up to the neighbor's barn. It did not continue on to Guston Ryder, the road out front. It went straight back to that woods back there, then up 28. There was 10 acres in this field across the fence where the barn is. There was about 200 feet between the barn and the road that went straight up to the next tree line, and it was all interconnected. This was, how I want to say it, one farm, and there used to be a cow lane that was fenced off from basically 28 mile up the road all the way down through here to here, this piece of property, and it had gates. It was fenced off and gated to where they could move cows from one pasture to another, to another, to another. This, however, was the exception. I don't know how or when or why it got done like it was, but about where the fence is behind his house is where the property line was, and it went back, and literally the road was right here between this tree and that tree. And they closed it years and years and years and years ago. Back in the 20s, I believe, if I remember right. But they had to have ditches to run the water out. So in order to do that, it's downhill from the woods this way. So the collection point from the woods back here was this. The county dug this ditch system through our place down to a side waterway that took it out to the road, and is why that ditch down there at the road is so deep. So they could drain water from all the way back there at that woods down this county ditch and road and get it down to that creek. They vacated it. I've wanted to fill this in for years. Now I'm getting it done. Still got a little bit of fence here and here, and all the fencing's gone. But I wanted this ditch filled in. Well, I've got it filled from here to that big pin oak, which I can already see it's helped this ground. But be that as it may, got free canary grass over there over the top of my head, and what I'm wanting to do is get this is going to get sprayed with burn down. Hopefully he can get between these trees with his booms, back up in here over to those logs, and go on out. Spray all this, kill it all off. And I got a friend of mine that's either going to get planted with a 750 no-till drill, or my cousin is going to bring his AC planter tractor over. I could use my no-till drill, or I could use my planter, but the long, until I figure out exactly what's wrong with it, why it started slobbering oil at the dipstick, I'm not going to run it. That's what I always use the drill on, and the planter. And I really don't want to go into this with my AC planter using the tractor with a board strapped to the front of the loader for markers. It's just, you know, and if it works out right, what I'm hoping to do, the weed will come off next week or so. Should get this sprayed Sunday, Tuesday, I think is what he said, or Wednesday. It's going to take a few days for it to dry down, burn it down, kill it, which will be good. And I'll plant, hopefully, and get in here, and then get over there to double crop beans in where the wheat is at the same time. We'll just play that one by ear. But like I said, this is something I didn't really get to talk about last fall, or show you. I literally filled this ditch line in, and I may continue right on down through here because this ditch doesn't need to be here now. So, got my mess cleaned up. Burn down can be sprayed. And that'll also give me a little bit of time, maybe. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ash trees, good sized ones that need to be cut down. They're dead. That one right there. There's 3 there, and then there's a clump of 3 back there that are 2 foot in diameter. They need to come down. What I was going to do last fall, but the kidney stones, well, they had other ideas. So that's my game plan. Get this sprayed with burn down, get it no-tilled. This ground right here, if the ground is dry like it is, no-till will work in it. Whoops, stepped on a frog. If the ground is dry, and I don't mean moist, I mean dry, which this is, no-till will work in this. And when I say that, I mean it has to be ideal conditions. And this is just about ideal right now. It's hard, it's dry, it's hard, and it'll work. This particular piece of ground is the most difficult to farm piece of ground I have ever farmed in my life. It literally, you go from right where I'm standing, and if you went back to those trees in as far as I am from here, you took soil samples across that back, you take soil samples across here, and you'll come up with two absolutely different soils. I mean, night and day difference. This stuff, you touch it wet, turns to concrete. Back there by those trees, about a third of the way into the field, the whole end, across through there, and that whole side over there, you can hit it wet, come back in an hour or so, and it'll bust up like flour. But this right here, that's a whole different ball game. But guys, I'm going to call it a day here. I've got my mess cleaned up. I've got the sticks picked up back through there. So get this sprayed with burn down, and then it's going to be no-tilled with beans. And hopefully planted right through here, if it all goes right. At least that's the plan. So we'll see you next time. Oh, I'll show you something else. So hang on. Okay, come down through here. Did a little brush cleanup. Had a bunch of sassafras trees growing on this side, and they don't need to be there, so I just took that pile out, you know, clean from there to there, and that's that pile. Like I say, this ground is funny, and like this ditch. This ditch absolutely does not need to be here, because there's no water. The only time you get any water coming this way is if you get torrential rain, you know, a couple, 2-3 inches at a time, come down real quick, then you'll get water run this way. Because about 100 feet, 125 feet from that tree line and the field behind us, there's a ditch that runs from back here in this corner all the way up almost to State Route 28. It's just about a mile up there, and it empties into a creek. More or less the start of the creek. And that was put in by the former landowner of it to drain that property back through there, so it did not drain through this place. Originally, this property owned all the way back to the woods, and back part of it back there was sold off back years ago, and I'm talking close to 100 years ago. But there's really no need of this ditch being here now, and my plan is leave this center section in and do away the rest. Now, you want swamp grass, right there it is. That is some of the toughest cutting stuff you have ever seen. And it kills me is the amount of clover that's in here. If you wanted clover that thick, you couldn't get it to grow. But if you don't want it, it will. And the biggest majority of the green you see out there is clover. If I had cows, I would definitely green chop this and feed it to them. But it is what it is, and can't do nothing about it. I think originally the creek that was here came right straight through there up and kind of back in through here somehow, because the biggest part of that over there and on that tree line is a ditch, and the biggest part of it is hand dug. But guys, we'll see you next time, and as always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. It's amazing how much this dried up in just a few days. Like I say, a week ago, you could not walk on this ground. You'd be your ankles in mud. When it takes an ocean to dry, it dries out. Hopefully, like I say, this will work out where that wheat comes off and I get to get it sprayed, or this over here planted, sprayed, and both sides here planted at the same time. We'll see you next time, guys.